Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, I love a moment like this. I love a moment where you can just sense the raw emotion, the frustration. You know, people who think like us are certainly underrepresented. We've got like Scott Jennings and not too many other people who tell our side of the story in the news media apparatus. And so with this fact of underrepresentation, it gets frustrating, you know, hearing all this commentary and not having somebody who's there to offer our opinion or call out the bullshit. But in this case, luckily enough, we got it. We got former RNC chair Reince Priebus showing up on ABC News and absolutely decimating these fake news hacks on the issue of the Joe Biden health cover-up. These people should be ashamed of themselves. Basically, we got to flip the script because they tried to make us feel ashamed for simply telling it like it is for 4 years straight. Meanwhile, the Joe Biden cover-up debacle continues to get worse and worse as we're now learning that it's very likely that Joe Biden was actually physically sick during his 4 years in office. That explains everything now, doesn't it? Keeping Joe Biden in the basement, the absolute refusal to be transparent with his most recent medical records. They lied to us for years, and the House of Cards, the Jenga tower, I guess you could say, is finally collapsing. Let me show you guys a bunch of clips, and of course, let's have the conversation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's first start off with this Reince Priebus clip. Take a look.
People were put to shame, me and others out there that talked about Joe Biden's mental acuity. We were told he was sharp as a tack, he had a photographic memory, he was intense and brilliant. And what's amazing is the sources of this book were the same sources that told us that we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. It's a stutter. Stop talking about him. The fact is they were managing his decline in a nursing home in the White House.
That's exactly how I feel. That's why I really wanted to lead with this clip today. Just because of the frustration, you know? To be yelling in the void for so long. We've been pointing this out since day one and you people called us crazy. And now look at what we're dealing with. The Robert Hur phone call being released and now this? It's bad. It is bad.
It's very unlikely that someone could get annual checkups and not notice a PSA elevation.
So you're saying that certainly as he was
correct.
serving in the Oval Office, you believe that he knew that he had prostate cancer, and even potentially as he was running in 2020 before he assumed office?
Most likely, he had prostate cancer for a long time, and aggressive prostate cancer such as this at age 80 grows over a long period of time.
This is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency.
It's likely that Joe Biden hit his prostate cancer from the moment he was elected and possibly from even when he was campaigning for office. But the left for some reason wants you to believe that this diagnosis just happened. It makes no sense. The most powerful man in the world, surrounded by elite physicians, gets routine full body scans, but yet somehow we're expected to believe that this just popped up at the current stage that it's at just this month? It's total nonsense, and it exposes everything they have been hiding, lying, covering, and most insultingly, they have been gaslighting the public for years on this ordeal.
The president is healthy and vigorous, fit enough to perform his presidential duties.
President Biden remains a healthy, vigorous 80-year-old male who is fit to successfully execute the duties of the presidency.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
They lied the whole time and the media was clearly in on it. And what's crazy is they kept telling us how transparent they were going to be, right? The Biden administration was supposed to be the most transparent in American history. And Kamala Harris even said this during the 2020 VP debate.
Joe has been incredibly transparent over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there. He is honest, he is forthright. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been about covering up everything.
Unlike Trump, President Biden will be completely transparent about health-related issues. Holy frickin' crap. As if Donald Trump wasn't transparent. He was totally transparent. I mean, the media was floating the 25th Amendment for months at one point. They ran segment after segment talking about Trump's instability.
Look, I'm not a doctor, but I do think it's crazy to suggest he would be the healthiest president ever.
An unannounced trip President Trump made to Walter Reed Hospital last November with his doctor. Well, the White House has maintained for months the last-minute hospital visit was for part of the president's annual physical.
One of the closest aides and advisors advisors to the president is publicly defending his mental fitness.
Let's talk about the president's unscheduled hospital visit over the weekend.
Is it true that Republican colleagues of yours expressed concern about President Trump's mental health?
And so Donald Trump, in response, did physical checkups and even did a mental acuity test, which he both aced and then made those records public. But meanwhile, the previous administration that refused to make their records public, hid the disclosures, and never even considered doing a cognitive test. Yeah, they promised to be transparent. They were lying from the start, and they called you crazy. You were a conspiracy theorist for ever even suggesting it. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating this. This is a scandal of epic proportion. You know, I know many Democrats and leftoids all over social media are trying to use Joe Biden's health announcement as a sensitive issue that they're clearly weaponizing to shut you up. Oh, considering the sensitive nature of this diagnosis, you Republicans really shouldn't politicize this. And if you do, you're a bad person. That's the claim they're making.
It's a painful moment for him and his family. It's a very serious diagnosis. My expectation that President Biden is going to meet this moment with the courage and resilience that he's consistently shown. Seems to me entirely inappropriate that at this moment in time, when President Biden is dealing with a serious and aggressive form of cancer, there are Republicans who are peddling conspiracy theories and want us to look backward at a time when they actually are taking health care away from the American people. No, as House Democrats, we're going to look forward. They literally are trying to take health care away from millions of Americans at this very moment in the dead of night. And Republicans want to fan the flames of conspiracy theories at this moment. No, thank you.
But while this is a sensitive topic, obviously it's sad. Health concerns suck regardless of your politics. At the end of the day, the scandal is still valid. It's still massive. And it's not just me who sees it that way. It's also lifelong Democrats who clearly acknowledge that something deeply unethical happened here.
Anybody who cares about this country and about just the dynamics of power, this is the emperor's new clothes playing itself out in real time. Everybody knew, but everyone was afraid to say, except for David Axelrod for 2 years, that something was wrong here. I was shocked. I love Joe Biden. I don't like him. I love him. I got a chance to work with him when I was a part of the Obama administration and loved him more every day. I was shocked to see his condition when he came out, and so was the world. That wasn't the first time he was in that condition. There are people who knew and said nothing, and that is a crime against this republic, and I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time for being a part of what is now being revealed to be a massive cover-up.
I think he said it correctly. There are people who knew and said nothing. That is a crime against this republic. Absolutely, this is a cover-up of historic proportions. They attacked anybody who questioned Biden's capacity. They mocked, they shamed, they censored. They attempted to rewrite history. They hid important facts away from the American people, clearly affecting election results. You think if voters knew that Joe Biden was sick, he would have won? You think that if voters knew that the Hunter Biden laptop story was real and represented a real Biden family scandal, you think that Joe Biden would have won? They hid, they lied, they covered up, hid the facts in an election season, and did a real Democratic disservice to the people. They should be ashamed of themselves. And again, like I've been saying, knowing this, everything they did to unseat Donald Trump during his first term, the phony indictments that they launched against him, their plans for mass censorship and weaponizing the justice system, not against Donald Trump, but against the people as well, and their right to protest and their right to free speech, the Democrat Party has damaged itself to a seriously heavy degree. And I just don't know how you could ever trust these people ever again. A full investigation needs to be launched. The people who were involved in this cover-up should be held to account. And frankly, at this point, the mainstream media should go out of frickin' business. Regular people do a better job anyways. And this story, I'd say, is the absolute proof. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.